You know, folks, I've been thinking about when it comes to bluegill, I catch them a lot of different ways, and shellcracker. But really, to be honest with you, this is one of the most basic ways to go about it right here. And as far as size, catching the really big ones, I mean the real big ones, this is really actually the best way to go about it. Bluegill and them red ears will bed several times from springtime all the way to fall. That's why there's so many of them. It's bluegill time. Some of the fish is already going on bed. The saying is the first full moon in May is when they go on bed. That's simply not true. They'll actually go on bed before that. It's more, the full moon does generate the fish going on bed, folks. Don't misunderstand me, but there'll be fish that goes on bed before then. What's more important is water temperature. Water temperature is very important. And in ponds, they go on bed a little quicker than what they do in lakes, but simply because ponds, the water temperature warms up quicker is what I'm saying in the springtime. Right in between those two trees is where the fish are, and I believe there's several on bed there. Now, the spots changed. Usually they bed right here on this little point where we started, but there wasn't any fish there. I caught a couple, but they were small. But the bedding fish is right over here. And what I'm using, and I actually bought 3 of these because we was going to do something a little bit different, like I said, but the weather conditions is not going to let me. Matter of fact, I'm very blessed that there's a little break in the weather right now so I can fish. But that's live red worms, Billy Dances, well, it's Walmart red worms. These are my favorite little hooks for this. Size 6, Aberdeen light wire panfish hook. There's the number on it, 214ELA-6. And I'm using 2-pound test vicious high vis monofilament line. I get a lot of questions, and this is my favorite line when it comes to monofilament line for light line, 2 to 4 pound test. This is my favorite line to use. Using a little 1000 size Daiwa reel, Reverus LT 1000. Good reel, great little drag system on it, and a 7-foot Crappie Max rod, which I've been using a whole lot here lately. Ultra light. It's real limber. So let's make another pitch out there and see what'll happen. I know what's going to happen. We're going to get bit. Now, this water right here isn't but a couple feet deep. It ain't very deep at all. And these bluegill is just now starting to bed, so that means that they're going to be scattered. They're not going to be real thick. They're going to be scattered, one here, one there. But I know they're in this area right here. Let's watch that line now. See, it's laying on top of the water. That's what I'm watching. When it starts taking off, I'll go ahead and set the hook. That could be a bite. Yep, there he is. That fish barely moved off with it. See, this is what I'm talking about. Saving a day. Getting out here. Yeah, it's overcast. It's raining. It's not what you call a pretty day, but to me it is. Because I'm not going to waste it. Like I said, when I get done fishing, golly, that's a big one. Look here, folks. He slung, y'all see him sling it off. He shook his head and slung it. That's another old big one. They're so big in here that you can see their teeth. See those little teeth? That's how big they are. Let's let him go. Let's chunk him right there. That last fish that hit just barely hit it. I just barely seen a tick. So you got to watch it real close. Watch that line real close. If I don't get a bite after, a few seconds, I'll move it. See, it's on the bottom right here. Now, what's good about this pond, you'll see leaves right here on the edge of it, but on out in there, it's a sandy bottom. There's no silt, that old green algae stuff, and that enables me to be able to move that worm on the bottom without collecting a bunch of that old green junk. There's none of it in this pond. There's a bite. There he is. Good one. Now, did y'all see how quick I set the hook? Very important if you're going to catch and release. Now, this is a big one. I can tell y'all right now, this is a good one. Wow. Come on. Cut it out. Okay, let's see if we can... Ooh, I hate that. That's a heavy, heavy fish right there. Another one. Yeah, this time of the year, they'll definitely start spawning before people think, a lot of times. Used to, and it works. This does work. First full moon in May, you can guarantee that the fish will be on bed. That's a guarantee. But they'll actually go on bed, a couple weeks before that. It's based on water temperature. Now these is I'm going to tell you something. And I'm not, these worms right here, this company, and I'm not affiliated with nobody, but this one right, it's Billy Dance. Who makes this? Wormville. They put plenty of red worms in a bucket. They're not like a lot of companies. A lot of companies is cheap. But I'm talking about there's a lot of worms in there. So they're worth buying. They're worth buying because the price of fish per pound right now is absolutely out of this. Hey, you can't buy fish that's as good as these fresh caught ones like we fish for on this channel. These crappie and bluegill, shell cracker. You can't buy fish that's as good as what we're catching out here. They don't have the same taste at all. There's one. There he is. See how quick? Don't mess with them. Go ahead and stick them so you can release them right back. This is a big one. This is one of them golly whoppers, I believe. And this is perfect tackle for it. I've been bragging about this rod for a long time. I bought it at Cabela's in Huntsville, Alabama. It's real limber on the tip. And when it comes to crappie, bluegill, shell cracker, a good one like this feels like he's 5 or 6 pounds. That's what you want. You don't want a stiff rod. This makes it a lot of fun. That little thin line like I use, 2-4 pound test, is perfect. Now this is a big one, folks. That's what I'm talking about. That's why I hung around here like I did. That is a huge gill. Let me give you something to compare it to. I could run back to the truck and take my camera off, but there's no need. It's really coming down right now. See that bucket of worms in comparison? Okay. That's a big gill. Come on back. Okay. Tell you what, they're biting. When they're biting like this, it's hard for me to leave. I am the type of person that loves to catch panfish just as much as I would, a 60-pound blue catfish. See that ring right there behind his head, about a ½ inch? That's the head. That's the tail. So what I do is right there in his mouth, I'll hook him. And a lot of times it ain't that quick. he cooperated. A lot of times they'll wiggle, 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 but when you hook them that way, they'll wiggle a lot. Okay, see how relaxed that, stretched out that worm is? Pop him, he'll tense up, and you can get a longer cast with him. I've shown that trick a lot of times. Move it just a little bit. Look here. There he is. As soon as I moved it, he hit it. You got to get their attention sometimes. Got to get their attention. This one here ain't real big. He ain't real little either. That was a little bass right there. Chased the minnow to the... Yeah, that ain't no big gill right there. He's just big as my hand is all. That's a big female. That's what that is. Get on back, gal. Let's pitch it back out. Let's go. Let's favor that side of the bed right there. Now, I can actually see the bed with these glasses. That's why I'm wearing them. Even though it's overcast, I can still see the bed. If I didn't have them on, I wouldn't be able to see. But it's just a light spot. And this bed right here ain't really a very big one, really. But I can see it's just like I said, a light spot right there. It's right in the middle of it. I'm just sort of stitching it back to me. I'm going to say it's probably 2 feet deep out there. It's real shallow. Yeah, if I don't get a bite instantly, I'll move it a few inches, just like that. That's very important to just keep your bait moving, especially in this shallow water. A lot of times on the initial cast, when you make a cast, they sense that vibration, and they're on it. They'll come to it real quick. Got a leaf right here. When it comes to pan fishing, there's nothing like a night crawler or a red worm or a wiggler or a cricket. I mean, those are your top baits. You can catch a giant shell cracker or bluegill or stump knocker or red breast sunfish by fishing like this right here. It's just that deadly. Look here. There's a good one right there. That one's taking drag. Did y'all see how quick that fish moved? This is a good one. Yet another good one on a dark, rainy day. And we've been out here for about 20 minutes. Look here, what a fish. About 20 minutes. He's big enough to tear that vegetation apart right there. Look here, what a fish. We've been out here for about 20 minutes, maybe a little bit longer, and it's been non-stop. I didn't think I'd be able to fish this long. That's a good one by Ned. I mean, obviously we can't show every fish that bites, but I've done sit here and I've caught about 30, and they're still biting. So, look here. Now look here, y'all seen that, okay? Just as soon as I seen that line move, I set the hook. That fish just had hit it. So that's even a little bitty fish like that will inhale a worm in, hook like that. That right there. See, you don't have to wait long. But look here, I'm going to tie my favorite knot when it comes to light line. This 2-pound test. This is the strongest knot ever invented. This is it, and it's called the Palomar knot. See, I run it through there the same twice. Then I'm going to take this loop and then bring it up under that loop. And then this loop, I'm keeping in contact with it, goes over the hook. That's it. That's it right there. And then just cinch it up. Like that. That's a strong, strong knot right there. For light line, that's the strongest one you can tie. And when it comes to 2-pound test, there's only three that I'll use. A uni knot, a Palomar knot, or a trilane knot, and that's it. The rest of the knots I will not use, because now they just ain't good for 2-pound lines. They're just not, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. Remember that. This is just an opinionated channel. And this is, to me, this is just basic fishing for panfish right here. Now, this no weight thing that I do and have been doing for a long time, no weight or very little weight, or as little as you possibly can get by with if you have to use weight, is something I learned when I was a kid. Through trial and error, I found out, pretty quick, that I was catching more fish without weight in situations like this. We had a lot of swamp ponds, is what I call them back in the day. Swamp ponds that we would fish and catch some of the biggest warmouth, red ear sunfish, copper-nosed bluegill you've ever laid your eyes on, folks, by fishing this way. Same thing, no difference. Alright, folks, this is the last one right here. Last worm. There he goes. Yeah, lay bum. Last one, last fish. And I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be truthful. I hadn't been here very long at all, and I've caught 40 or more of these without any trouble off of these 2 beds, or actually three beds that I've been working with. They're getting slow right now, though. And this is a big old gill. That's going to be a good one right there to end it with. And that is a beautiful gill. I'm going to show y'all this one. This is a beautiful, beautiful fish. I tell you, lighting is a problem right here, but check him out. That's going to be, see, he's peeing right there. That's the male. That's what I'm talking about. That's a huge bluegill, folks. And I've caught a lot of them. Let's go ahead and let this thing go. And that's going to be the end of it. I have enjoyed it. What a blessing. Alright, folks. There he goes. That's a good fish. Sporty fish. A bluegill has got to be probably America's favorite fish. Got to be. Or shellcracker. Also, just any panfish like that. There's no stump knockers in this part of the country. Now, in Tennessee, there's a few. Look here. Golly, what a heavy fish. That's a bass. No wonder. Oh, my goodness. He ate that red worm. Oh, he come off, folks. My goodness. Oh, me. He's got a hook in him. That was about a 4-pound bass right there or better. But after all the bluegill that I caught, now this is going to be rare, but we're going to show this. My knot got weak. Okay, my knot got weak. And I should have already retied. If I had retied, I would have landed that 4-pound bass with this 2-pound line. Because there's nothing out here. What it was, the knot got weak. You know, this little line like that, that's what happens. So I thought about it like 6 fish back. You better retie that knot. In case you hook one of them sure enough big bluegill. But worse happened. That was about a 4-pound bass. Largemouth. That shows how effective this type of fishing is. It's so realistic. A hook, a worm, whether it be a night crawler or a big red worm like this, bass, catfish, bluegill, shellcracker, all of them will hit it. It's such a natural presentation. That same 4-pound bass, you can buy a $80 glide bait or an $80 swim bait and catch that fish. And it'd be so wonderful. But that little worm, a little worm, will do the same thing. Think about that. Well, folks, we're back, and I tell you, the sun is trying to pop through the clouds, but we're fixing to have a lot of rain. But the main point of this, I didn't waste a day. I had a great couple hours of fishing, caught a lot of fish, and it was a blessing, to say the least. But this technique of fishing is a simple technique, and it's one of which I've caught a lot of big bluegill, shellcracker, all species of panfish, to tell you the truth, by using this method. If you're looking for a trophy panfish, this has got to be probably the #1 method, or in my opinion, the #1 method that you can probably use. It's a very natural presentation, and you'll catch a lot of fish doing it. But I want to say God bless each and every one of y'all. Thank y'all for all the great comments. Everything y'all do, well, is appreciated. Hey man, it's simple. It's springtime, the fish are biting. There's a lot of different things that we're going to do pertaining to panfish this year. A lot of different places we're going to fish. Hey man, woo. I'm talking about woo. The birds, the birds, the birds. And remember, go fishing when you can, because it's good